Show just got a lot more handsome. Say hello to Jay Will. Jason, what's at stake for Jason Tatum tomorrow in Game 3?
Guys, SA, you know I always like to be my authentic self, so I'm about to keep it 100 on this. The last couple of days, I've seen a lot of trash. I've seen a lot of slander. I've seen a lot of BS. There's a lot of people out there questioning the legacy of Jason Tatum. And just let me say for the record, his damn legacy is cemented. Is it complete? No, it's not. But we are talking about a guy who's an NBA champion, a four-time All-NBA first-teamer. We're talking about a guy who's an NBA Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and a guy who has the most 50-point games in Celtic playoff basketball history. So seeing people out there talking about, well, this is what Steve Kerr was talking. This is the narrative that's BS, man. Stop. Lose me with all that. Is there room for improvement from Jason Tatum? You're damn right there is. I am not absolving Jason Tatum of his poor play. Obviously, you saw the numbers. 29% from the field, 25% from the three-point line. But the last series, my man did average 31 points per game. So is there a lot to compete for him to continue to chase the next iteration of his legacy? Sure. But people out there that try to tie these loose-ended narratives, Stephen A., about, he's so passive and he's not really the guy that could be the face. Just leave me with all that. He's having two poor playoff performances. Yes, he could have shot the ball in the last play. Yes, he should have drove the ball in the first game. Is he in his own head? You're damn right he is. LeBron James has had moments where he's been in his own head. Michael Jordan has had moments where he's been in his own head. Now, I'm not putting him in the same bucket as those two. They're obviously on a different level. But we keep acting like Jason Tatum is some softy out here who hasn't accomplished anything. What is the media trying to do? I understand the Celtics are favored, they're down. But is there something for him to prove? Yes, there's always something for Jason Tatum to prove. He is competitive, he is fiery. He shows it in different ways than Anthony Edwards. But I'm not going to allow people in the media to discredit this man's resume, because his resume is damn impressive, Stephen A. It's damn impressive.
Well, for the audience perspective, you clearly ain't talking about me. Because 24 hours.
No, I'm not talking about you. No way. Not you, brother. Not you.
Because 24 hours ago, I was arguing with Kendrick Perkins. I didn't want to hear anything about legacy. The man is a champion. He's been to 2 NBA Finals. He's been to 5 Eastern Conference Finals. All right? He's a full-time All-NBA first-teamer. I don't want to hear that about legacy, especially when he's already got a banner hanging in the rafters for TD Bank Garden above the parquet floor. Having said all of that, Jay, I totally agree with you for the most part. I didn't have a problem with the Steve Kerr thing, though, only from this perspective. I knew that he deserved better. In other words, to not play is one thing, but for somebody to walk up to this quality of play and say, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find time for you before the game even begins. It's something that I struggle with. Me and Wendy have gone back and forth with that because I thought he deserved better than that. And I think that we walked into this postseason recognizing what he was going to do during the regular season, and that come playoff time, he was going to take it to another level because this reigning defending NBA champion had something to prove because he had a chip on his shoulders. In other words, we expected better from Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum just expected better from Jason Tatum. Against the Knicks in 4 victories this year, 4-0 against the Knicks in the regular season. He averaged 33.5 points on 53% shooting from the field and 48% from three-point range. He has annihilated the New York Knicks this year until the playoffs began. And nobody, you can't find me a basketball mind on this planet who thought that the New York Knicks would walk into Boston and be up 2-0 after departing from Boston against the defending champions. Nobody saw this coming. And so because it's here, now we get to look at certain things. 1 of 7 in the paint in the non-restricted area. 1 of 8 from mid-range. 5 of 20 from three-point range. 2 of 14 on all shots in the fourth quarter and overtime. 1 of 7 in clutch time, okay? So I'm looking at all of these things and I'm like, what the hell is going on? We know this is not going to last. It can't last. But say for the sake of argument, it did last. What I tried to explain to everybody yesterday, the Boston Celtics have taken 100 three-point shots in 2 games. They've missed 75, the most in the NBA history, over a 2-game stretch. They missed 75 three-pointers. 48 of those shots have been uncontested three-pointers. And for the audience out there, uncontested is a defender is either 6 feet or further away from you. Basically, nobody's within 6 feet of you. They've had 48 of those shots, and they've shot 25%. They've hit 25% of those. So they're just missing. For some reason, they just can't find the ocean right now. I don't believe that's going to last. But if it lasts, we need to say why. It's not about choking. It's not about panicking. It's not, oh, my Lord, your legacy is tainted forever. It's nothing about that. It's just that for a series, if you have that many open shots and you're missing those open shots, you just miss it. And that's what we are to deduce from all of this.
Joe, do I want to get dragged into the Tatum Olympic thing again?
Yeah.
I don't really want to do it.
Do it.
I don't want to do it.
Yes, you do, Wendy.
He and I have gone back and forth about this for months. We understand.
It's a new meme.
The Olympic thing has nothing to do with this. The Olympic thing was a matchup situation against Serbia. He played in the other 4 games. It was only against Serbia. It has nothing to do with what he's doing in this series. It's not a vindication for Steve Kerr. It had to do with a matchup against Serbia in an international game where Serbia guarded 3 7-footers, and it's a 40-minute game. Okay, it has nothing. I see people connecting this, like giving Steve Kerr credit. Nothing to do with it.
Are the Knicks the Serbia of the NBA?
Thank you.
No, hell no.
Stop, Joe.
I've been around long enough where do you know how many times I've dragged my backside to Boston in my 20-year career in the playoffs? So many times. And over the last 6 or 7 years with this particular group, do you know how much time I've spent with this team? And I can tell you that I've seen Jason Tatum at the absolute bottom, and I've seen Jason Tatum at the absolute top. I've watched him drop Game 7s at home. I've watched him win Game 7s on the road. I've watched him score 50. I've seen him score 15. I've seen him hold the trophy. I've seen him walk out with his head down. He's always been there because he's so great that he and Jaylen Brown and the rest of the Celtics that come around him are always there. The reason that Jason Tatum has such a complex history in these situations is because he's been there so often, because he's so good. In the last series, he hurt his wrist. It was a bone bruise, okay? He missed a game. It was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Are the Magic going to do something? He came back and had 37, 36, and 35, okay? He has had 2 bad games. Absolutely. Terrible. Terrible. But the idea that his legacy or anything is at stake, you're not giving credit where it's due. And it is due here. You can both say that he is a flawed player and that he's a great player and he's a very accomplished player. And what happens tomorrow is not going to define.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
One thing real quick. The one thing that's very important to point out is that it's hard talking about Jason Tatum in any kind of negative light for this one reason. The character is off the charts. I mean, when you talk about a guy, you always see him with his kid or whatever. You talk about a guy mild-mannered, incredibly respectful, decent, the whole bit. To know Jason Tatum in any kind of way is to have the utmost profound respect for him. And if it were not for him wearing a Boston Celtic uniform, because people root against the Boston Celtics all over the place outside of Boston, you couldn't find any negativity towards this guy. His character is unquestioned, and he's a champion and a great player and the whole bit. So I get you. And the whole Serbia thing, you're absolutely right. We've talked back and forth about it. But, I mean, my thoughts are different from the fans that criticize those guys. But in the end, when you're this great of a talent, people expect more than what they've seen these first 2 games. Because even injured, nobody has expected Jason Tatum to look like this. This will not last. But we need to understand that it's alarming to see him struggle like this because this is some unprecedented struggles for him.
I say your point is right on par. And the question is, what's at stake for Jason Tatum? I would twist that and say, what's at stake for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and ready, Joe Mazzulla. Let me tell you a little bit about something because context matters here, okay? Everybody keeps asking, when are the Celtics going to change up their strategy? Well, if you know Joe Mazzulla, if you know his ability and his love, his passion for ninjutsu, right? A lot of his, you take the inbound and you use it against your opponent. So what do you think were things that he talked to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown about? Everybody's trying to change you guys. Everybody's trying to separate you guys. You guys are enough. You are enough to win an NBA championship. We don't need to change anything. You are enough, and we are enough, and our style in which we play is good enough. Yeah, I'll take that thumbs up because it's correct, right? So my thing is when you're Joe Mazzulla and everybody's trying to tell you what you need to do differently, my brother's sitting there saying, no, this is who we are, and we're going to come back and we're going to win this series. We're going to keep shooting the shots we shoot because shooters have no memory. You can't worry about what you missed. You focus on what you're going to make, and that's Joe Mazzulla's entire strategy.
Even if they don't change and they lose, right? The man won a championship doing it. And that's what we have to remember. We just have to remember with Joe Mazzulla, we are talking about a champion. We're not talking about somebody that hasn't done it. 2 years ago, you're down 0-3 and they came back 0-3 and tied the series. And if Jason Tatum doesn't get hurt early in that game 7, they might have gone to the finals instead of Miami. And Denver might have had a tougher series going up against Boston than they did against Miami. And then the following year, you win the championship. I mean, I just think it's important for us to remember that.
All right, let's leave it there. One thing to keep in mind, down 0-2, the focus on legacy and place in history is solely on the negative if they can't come back and win. Think for a moment what it does for Tatum's legacy to come back and win this series and then continue on through the playoffs.
Well, we're not hoping that. We're not hoping that.
No, some of us maybe. Some of us may have made some bets, but that's neither here nor there. All right, let's abruptly transition.
I want him to be all right, but I don't want Boston to win.
Stephen
Hey, look, I need you to have a voice for future shows, SA, okay? I need you to have a voice.
Rest it. All right, Stephen A's Knicks have a